Welcome to Cruising with Jake. I'm Jake. That's Smoke. Let's go cruising. So guys, welcome to today's episode of Cruising with Jake. The other day I made a video introducing you to Smoke. Well, I had some buddies come on my comments and say, man, we want more pictures of the build and we want to know more about Smoke. So today I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you all the pictures I really have of the truck from when he was still a V6 5-speed truck all the way through. So this first picture you see, this is Smoke in his pretty much original form. I mean, I've done some modifications to him. I've done the grill, I've done the hood, the tent, the wheels, or some cheap aftermarket wheels and tires. But he's still in pretty much stock form here. And, you know, this is how he started when I offered him to my daughter for her first vehicle. This next picture is the last picture of the odometer reading that I had on him before I started tearing him down to do the rebuild on him. That shows 256,000 miles on him, or 258,000 miles on him, I'm sorry. But we drove him quite a bit further after that. So again, I started with the Gen 4 5.3 junk block. This is a picture of that. I tore it down, took it to Buddy Rice like I mentioned in the other video. We got it cleaned up, had the crank turned, everything's cleaned up there, and there you see the nice clean block on both sides there. And then I took the pistons, these are the stock pistons that are in the motor, and I cleaned them up by hand myself in a parts washer, all the things, got new rings for it, got the rings, cleaned them up. And then and this is the other side here. Then we ended up, like I said, I found the 243 heads, got them cleaned up. We had the 660 springs, got rid of those junk stock springs that were in there. And so the engine, when I initially built it, was supposed to be a twin turbo. I had the full twin turbo kit for it. It was going to be a sweet deal. But it was around the COVID time. Money got tight. So I needed to finish the truck up to get him running again. So I ended up selling the twin turbo kit and just ended up making the engine an NA build. And put that cam motion cam in there, made it really nasty, and the engine came out, really pretty. So then this is whenever I started pulling out the original V6 5-speed. That was on January 2nd of 2021. The day before, January 1st, 2021, I had shoulder surgery. Then my wife went to work and I was left alone, and I can't sit still very well. So I ended up pulling the engine out, and we started the rebuild process and redoing all of everything. There you see the original V6 5-speed out on the cherry picker. So I pulled it all out. Pulled him out, and like I said, this is January 2 of 2021. So I got everything pulled out of there, and there's the original V6 sitting in front of, so that's the little brother to the big brother. We were getting ready to do everything. So I ended up getting everything cleaned up inside the engine bay. There you see the engine bay again. This is the next day. You see the heater in the background. It was quite cold. But I got everything cleaned up. Got the frame I took the frame down to bare metal, and then I repainted everything and tried to make everything as clean as possible before we started putting everything back in. There you see I got the clutch mounted on the back of the engine. And then the next video, I mounted that NV3500 to the back of the engine. Then we ended up getting that stabbed in the truck, and like I said, everything worked great. I did do the holley terminator on the truck, and here coming up, you'll see I ended up getting the wiring harness put in. There's all the pictures of getting the engine put in the engine bay, headers on it, on both sides. And there it is. There it's in. It was a fun deal. I love this truck. I have literally touched on, besides the cab bolts, I've touched everything. There you see I've got the holley terminator ECU mounted up it's stored away in the glove box there. So we're getting ready to load the truck up here in a minute. This was after I got everything put in there. I took it down to a buddy of mine's place to finish up the holley terminator wiring. I won't say who did the initial hookup on the terminator, but it really wasn't done properly. So that's why I ended up getting them to Andrade's Performance and having that done. So in this clip here, this is pretty much right after we got smoke up and running. I had done a full exhaust on it all the way out to the back, and I wasn't really happy with how it sounded. It was poppy, just didn't sound really good. Dual exhaust, 2 MagnaFlows, and then I ran them out back past the rear axle, and it just popped and didn't really sound the greatest. And then so I ended up, I spent the money to have that exhaust done, and then I ended up taking it and hacking it off and just welding on some turn downs onto the end of the mufflers, and then that made it sound a whole lot better, in my opinion. That's my opinion, and here's that video. I mean, you might not agree with me, but the truck sounded pretty nasty that way. And it's even better now because I've gotten rid of the fuel tank. I've got equal length 3-inch exhaust back to those same MagnaFlows and turned down. In this clip here, we loaded up the truck. We were getting ready to go to our first King of the Open Road drag and drive event. We had to drove the truck 350 miles. I put an HD hood on it. I thought it was going to look better. Ended up not liking it. Everybody does the HD hood. I like my hood better. But ended up driving that truck 350 miles that day to get ready for the King of the Open Road race. And there he is doing the burnout. And man, I will tell you that with that NV3500, that truck would launch. The rear end wasn't happy, and I think this is where I blew out the synchros in the transmission, but it cut a 1/460 foot with NA with that NV3500. It only ran a 14.0 out the back. But then I started accumulating parts, and this is a Tyler Scruggs transmission cross member. I knew after that first King of the Open Road, I wanted to put an automatic in there. I thought I was going to make this thing a 10-second truck. There's our TCI trans brake manual valve body for the transmission. There's my Quick Performance rear end, and So I painted it all up in my garage and got everything ready. And I want to thank Jeff's Custom Garage and Andrade's Performance for helping me with that transmission and the rear end. And obviously the LS guys helping me with little parts here and there for my build. There's my Motion Raceworks shifter. I tried to build this truck on a budget. There was a couple things that I did not skimp out on, and that was the rear end, the transmission, and my shifter. That shifter, my hands on it all the time. I wanted something really nice. But there's the transmission in Jeff's shop after he just got it built with the torque converter in the back. It does have a 3500 stall, 35 to 3800 stall in it, so it does get up there. There we got the transmission bolted up to the back of the motor, getting ready to go back in on the second build there. There we go. We got the torque converter bolted up. And I tore the bed off. I mean, we were redoing pretty much everything on the truck again. So this will be the second or third time I've redone this truck. Again, I want to thank Jeff's Custom Garage and Andrade's Performance for sure. So I got the bed off. You can see how, almost 300,000 miles on it. Had a bunch of surface rust, but there we go. We got the Tyler Scruggs transmission cross member put in with the engine and transmission mounted into the back end of the truck. Let's get to this next clip here. So I started tearing everything down, and when I tore it down, I tore it down. We started stripping that frame, or I started stripping that frame, all the way down to nothing, and you'll see that coming up here. Mocking in the quick performance, I couldn't wait to see that thing up underneath the truck. So there you go. I've got the frame. I got everything off that rear section. Then I took a wire brush on my angle grinder, and I took this thing down to bare metal. So I ended up removing a couple of the cross members on the frame that held up the stock fuel tank. That a lot of people don't realize, but on these trucks, that those cross members sit right on top of the fuel tank and retain water. So that's the only spot on this truck on the frame or cross members that had any rust. Now that's all gone. You can see I got it all painted, cleaned up there. And again, you can see in the background there, I'm doing all this work in my 2-car garage. So then you see right here, I ended up getting C-notches, and these were supposed to be bolt-in C-notches, but I'm a welder fabricator. So I ended up taking them and flipping them from side to side and welding them in, and you'll see that it came out super clean. Ended up helping stiffen up a little bit more of that back half on the frame. There they are, all buffed down, cleaned up. Here in just a minute, you'll see it all painted back up again. There it is. I hate to brag, but came out pretty darn clean. I don't think somebody could have done a better job than that. There's that other cross member. I ended up cutting out and blocking that off, and then I welded in a nice 1/4 inch thick piece of tube, because I did a shock relocation on this, and you can see I had to remove and redo the shock mounts on the 9-inch there. And so there I got the shock. I did this myself. I'm sure that this is not the correct way to do this. Y'all can roast me if you want, but I put those on, and I did it all by eye. I feel like I did a pretty good job. It came out really well. The truck does not wheel hop. It rides wonderful, and it does great. So, it might not be exactly right, but it is what it is. So I ended up getting the center console out of a '05 and up, I believe, Chevy Tahoe. And that's where I started mocking up and cutting out and mounting that Motion Raceworks shifter in it. I built my own stand to go underneath it, and it is solid. It's not going to go anywhere. And I'm really proud of that too. Again, I did all this myself in my garage. There it is inside the truck with the seats back in it. And there it is, a shot from the top. I still have cup holders. I have little storage units, little storage sections. I tried not to put too much in there. I like to keep my stuff clean and tidy. These are the original front brakes on this truck. At almost 300,000 miles, I had never done a brake job on the front. I had to replace the rear brakes on the truck when I first got it from my mom, but these were the original brake pads on the truck. Again, all stock suspension, all the original suspension stuff, and then there we go with the new Detroit Speed front hubs on it. And then we ended up doing a wheel search, and then we found them. Man, those Riddlers look good. We were really concerned that 20 by 10s on all four corners wasn't going to fit and it was going to rub and all the things. But man, the offset came out perfect. And the stance on the truck just came out right. And when I mean right, I mean dead level right. I put the level on the door frame there, and you couldn't have got a better level on it. So then the truck went off to Paige Turner's garage. And if you look at that is looking down the side of the truck. And I mean, just a absolute mirror finish. After I'd done all the framework and everything, this truck had overspray all over it. It was gross, grimy, nasty, ugh. And so Paige, man, I can't thank him enough. He took that truck and it is buttery smooth, and it just, nothing sticks to it. One of these days I'll take you down to the car wash with me, and I'll show you how washing this truck, and it just comes out. Don't even really have to touch it. So again, those are the original headlights. So Paige got a hold of those, and then the before and after is just amazing. I mean, he made those lights look brand new, and I can't, again, if y'all need any kind of work done on your vehicles, hit up Paige, let him know that I sent you, and he can get you scheduled in and take care of you. Again, there's the original mirrors. He has a special sauce that he uses. He won't even tell me what it is, but you can see the before and after on that mirror. He kind of did a split on it. And then this next clip should be the whole mirror. Just, I mean, looking glossy. He did that to all the black plastics on these trucks. And there's the tail lights. Again, those are the original tail lights to the truck. Just amazing. And then, so once Paige got done with it, we went out and started going to shows, and Smoke started winning best in his class at multiple shows this past summer. So I can't thank Paige enough, and I also can't thank my beautiful wife enough for putting up with my obsession and my sickness. And so then we ended up getting the wheels and tires stuck out on Smoke about 3/4 of an inch or so, and so we ended up getting some fender flares for him to kind of tuck those back in, and man, they look good, if I do say so myself. So, you know, I just want to thank you guys again for watching the video. There's a little bit more in depth about the build of Smoke. If you got any more questions, comments, or anything like that, put those down in the bottom there in the comment section. Let me know what you think. You know, this is a passion of mine. This truck is my baby. And I can't thank my wife enough, Tamara. I can't thank my daughter enough, Skylar. She's been helping me with doing some of the editing. I mean, I am new to this, guys, so please bear with me. I'm trying to get better. I I want to get better at this and bring some fun stuff to you guys. And so, you know, as always, like, tag, share, and most importantly, subscribe. So again, I want to thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video. I got some fun stuff planned, and we'll just keep it rolling. And remember, don't worry about it and keep on cruising.